Hi dear friends, tonight we're going to continue with the book Living Spring by the Spirit Emmanuel through Chico Xavier. We are at chapter 3 tonight, and before we begin the chapter, let's just first relax and get our thoughts together so we can truly listen to this message, this wonderful spring water from Emmanuel. Chapter 3, On the Great Journey. By faith, Abraham, being called, obeyed and went to a place he would receive as an inheritance, even though he did not know where he was going. And that is in Hebrew 11 verses 8. By faith, disciples of the gospel are called, like Abraham, to the sublime inheritance that is their destiny. This calling reaches everyone. The great Hebrew patriarch went without knowing where he was going, and we in turn should also lift up our hearts and go. We do not know the stops along the lengthy way, but we do know that our goal is Christ Jesus. How many times will we be constrained to walk on the thorn bushes of slander? How long will we tread the scabrous trail of incomprehension? How often will floods of tears smite our spirit? How many clouds will from between our thoughts and heaven on long stretches on the road? So let me read this again. How many clouds will form between our thoughts and heaven on long stretches of the road? It is impossible to say. However, we must go always forward without discouragement on the internal pathway of our redemption. Today it is hard toil, tomorrow it is responsibility. After that, suffering, excuse me, and finally, loneliness. Nevertheless, it is necessary to press on without getting discouraged. If it is not possible to take 2 steps forward per day, let us advance a few inches at least. If the vineyard of new horizons of understanding, goodness, spiritual illumination and progress in virtue is open to us, let us climb the steep mountain without resting, defeating deserts, overcoming difficulties, piercing fog, breaking down barriers. Abraham obeyed without knowing where he was going and found the realization of his happiness. Let us obey in turn, aware of our destination and convinced that the Lord is waiting for us beyond our cross, on the resplendent peaks of eternal resurrection. Today, Emmanuel is calling us to take a great journey, and he says that, like Abraham, who didn't even know where he was going, he had faith. And I think if we look at where we are at in the world, we too should have faith. If we can't see the future, don't know what is going to happen, especially now in this time on earth. That is why Emmanuel is calling us to have faith, but is also saying that this road that we are traveling has many thorns, and it's a lonely road. But we should always keep our eyes on the end, on what we can get, and that is on Christ Jesus. He says, let us obey in turn, aware of our destination. We should be surely true to know where we are heading, regardless of what we are going through now on earth or during our lives on earth. We should always keep in mind where we are going. And that is not an earthly thing, it's a spiritual thing. It's a thing that we should evolve in. He says here that we should constantly, if we can't, he says, nevertheless, if it is necessary to press on without getting discouraged, if it is not possible to take 2 steps forward per day, let us advance a few inches at least. So just something, so that we can press on. And he says that we should let us climb the steep mountain without resting. Do not rest. Let us keep on. Defeat deserts, overcoming difficulties, piercing fogs, breaking down barriers. And now, especially now, is the time that we can look into ourselves, so that we can see who we are. What do we react to? What do we still need to work on? Take note of ourselves, of our inner selves, because this is what we are here to change. And so if you today maybe don't know where you're going, maybe you are in a mindset of too many things going on, remember that the first thing, that we are here now to work for the better good of all. And that means that we should keep our eyes on the goal, and that is not an earthly goal, it's a spiritual goal, to keep our eyes on that. Mark Carlos, thank you so much for joining us. So he says again, I'm going to read, Abraham obeyed without knowing where he was going and found the realization of his happiness. We don't know where we're going. We can't see ahead, but let's trust. Let's just trust and know that everything that happens to us, everything that we are going through is a lesson. And to say thank you for the lesson, to say thank you for the person that's maybe making things hard for you. Thank you, because it's a teacher. That is our teacher. And we have many teachers in this life, and many things that teaches us. It is our response towards things that we should be aware of. How do we respond? How do we feel? And it's a constant mindful thing for us to be constantly mindful about our thoughts and about our feelings. And it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to have sometimes need help, to talk to someone to help. But let's keep our eyes on the goal, and the goal is eternal resurrection. Thank you so very much for joining me tonight. I see these people and I can't see your names, but in this week, remember that we together trust. There are so many wonderful programs on Kodak Radio to keep our minds and our energies high and our vibrations high, so that we can work on ourselves and give out. And yes, when we work and when we change, this is a lonely road to travel, because it is not being part of the rest of humanity, but it is being this light, being part of, and as Emmanuel said in the beginning, for Jesus and with Jesus. So may everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.